there's a difference between just telling Claude what to do and also telling it what not to do. And that's where a hook comes in. So what do I mean by that? A prompt and a hook are very different in the way Claude can interact with it. The reason is that Claude by nature is probabilistic. Ask it the same question twice, and you might get two slightly different answers. That's because language models work that way. There's just an inherent variance in the output. But a hook has no variance because it's a simple code or snippet of scripts that simply fire when they run. And once it runs, you get the same output. If you run it 100 times, you still get the same output. So when you're deciding what to put in a hook versus what to put in a prompt, the question is simple. Do you need a guarantee? If yes, that's a hook. So here's a simple example that we're going to walk through. Say you want Claude to never use those nasty M dashes that we all know about when it's writing. The easy thing to do is just to tell it in the prompt, never use M dashes. And honestly, I think it works most of the time, and Claude will do its best to follow the instruction, but most of the time isn't the same as always. If you have a long conversation, complex output, you may have edge cases, and simply an M dash might accidentally slip. And a rule is different. Instead of asking Claude to remember the instruction, it almost acts like a gate that reads the actual output right before it gets written. It finds the M dashes, blocks it, and then tells Claude to fix it. And that is the shift. Prompts are guidance, hooks are enforcement. For anything that actually matters for your team, whether it's compliance, naming conventions, data that you don't want touched, you want the rule, not the request. So we can take that concept of a hook and evolve it to something called a pre-tool use hook. What do I mean by that? When Claude is going to take any action, it invokes a tool. In this case, a tool could be something like a skill or a type of MD file that tells it how to do something. So in our previous example, when we're using how to write a blog post, it may have a skill for that. And so a pre-tool use hook is basically a verifier or a gate that is actioned before that tool or that skill is used. And hence why I use that terminology of gate. So say when you want to use Claude to help you build on Monday.com and you need to verify that it's using the right entity boards, like on CRM, like the deals or the opportunities, or verify that it's actually building a portfolio board, not just some board called portfolio, you use a hook as that gate to ensure that that actually gets it right. And we want to use it as a pre-tool use because it'll catch it before the build actually begins, saving you a lot of tokens as to compared to fixing something post-build. And so the way to think about it is that you have a Claude writing whatever it's going to do, the gate that checks what is going through it and to verify if it's good. Either it's blocked because it was incorrect or it passes because it's clean, and steps 1 through 3 can repeat until Claude gets it right. And so here's a quick snippet or example. It's very simplified. It's not like the full script, but it should at least give you an idea. So when you think about it, when Claude writes a piece of text and saves it, before the saves goes through it, the gate scans it and finds the M dash, blocks it, and sends it back to Claude saying, fix this. Claude rewrites it, writes the M dash, and that's why it says system exit true. So it goes back and rewrites it and tries again. And the gate scans it a second time. If it's clean, it'll skip this snippet and go out to system exit 0, meaning that it's good. And if Claude gets it wrong for whatever reason, it gets blocked again. And this loop will keep running automatically until the output meets the standard. So what that means for you is that you're not reviewing outputs hoping that the rule was followed. The rule enforces itself. So you stop hoping AI follows the rule and start knowing that it will. And that's the whole point of the gate. Let's say your team has a rule. Every deal that gets created has to live in the deals board with a dollar value and an assigned owner. Pretty simple. Nothing crazy. It's not rocket science. But when Claude is creating items quickly across a bunch of different workflows without these rules, things can start slipping through the crack. So instead of hoping that Claude remembers, you can put in this gate. Before this deal item gets created, it has to ask these 3 questions. Is it going on the deals board? Does it have the dollar value? And does it have an owner? If anything's missing, the item just doesn't get created. Claude gets a message that this deal needs an amount and an order before it can be created. It fixes it, tries again, and then it goes through. And the result is on the right side of the slide. There are no half-built deals, no wrong boards, ever. And the word ever is doing the real work here because your CRM data quality stops depending on whether someone caught the mistake in review. Your structured is enforced at the point of creation before the bad data exists. And as the famous expression says, bad data in, bad data out. So we got to make sure that we have proper data to scale a business correctly.